Usually NFL Imperialism is about being the last team standing, where they are able to win against all their opponents and conquer the entire map. But today we have flipped the script because the loser moves on rather than the winner. As always, I will spin a wheel for selection and direction, and the teams will attack or expand until, well, this time, the loser is the last remaining on the land. Carolina Panthers, it is your time to shine. Now, there are some key differences in how this video will play out. For example, instead of expansions giving a free player, they will now take away a player. That's because being the most garbage team on the map is the key to victory. We do have power-ups still, and this is probably the most interesting collection ever. This includes Devolved, Slice Twice, Homeless, Dumped, and Poison. These work opposite to how you might normally think. The power-ups are designed to make the teams a bunch of cupcakes. So pick a team who you think will suck the most, and let's begin NFL Imperialism Losers Edition. Okay, as always, step number 1 is placing the power-ups, and we're going to be starting with the Poison. You might remember Poison from a previous episode, but it's going to work a little differently, and once again, Kentucky always gets a power-up. I swear they get one every single episode, but next up is going to be the opposite of Double Trouble. It's Slice Twice, and this will be going to the great state of New Jersey. Okay, 3 more to go, and we'll have Dumped. You probably don't know what this does. You'll just have to wait and find out. That's going to Arkansas. Final 2, it's between Devolved and Homeless, and looks like we'll be going Homeless. And which one of these great states will be known for being homeless? Mississippi. That kind of makes sense. And so that leaves the final power-up to be Devolved, which maybe you were able to use your contact clues and tell that this is an opposite of Evolved, and it's going to go to Iowa. Well, here's the first glance of the map. Now with our 5 power-ups placed, it looks like the Kansas City Chiefs, as always, benefit from having their central location on the United States because they share a border with 3 total power-ups. But the bad news for teams like the Kansas City Chiefs is that the objective today is to be the worst team possible, and that's going to be pretty tough for the Kansas City Chiefs. So there's our power-ups. Let's spin the wheel with turn number 1. Well, normally in Imperialism, I feel bad for who loses first, but this is actually going to set up a team for a possible success. That's if they lose. And the Jaguars, well, they have to play somebody. And that's because they're surrounded on both sides, whether it's going to be the Atlanta Falcons or Tampa Bay Buccaneers, whatever it's closest to on this arrow spin. Looks like the Jaguars will be taking on the Atlanta Falcons first. Who is going to be the loser? Okay, so game 1 of 31 games in this video. Kind of an interesting situation. Desmond Ridder, who's known to being really bad this year, he's going to have to be the baddest today as he takes a sack. It's going to be 3rd and 22, dead at the 50. Leave it to the Atlanta Falcons to successfully lose. That's the whole point of this video. Hopefully they don't complete this, and there you have it. It looks like they are actually trying to lose. Back-to-back sacks. I mean, this is going to be an Imperialism champion if you keep it up at this rate. And he's injured. Okay, this is going good. But Atlanta was forced to punt the football away. Let's see if the Jaguars can ice this game. Trevor Lawrence, a huge completion. That's going to set up failure. 1st and 10 to the 45. I mean, after all, you can't blame the simulation bot for wanting to win the game. That's their whole objective, but they are winning the game a little too good right now. I mean, this is looking a little too clean. The Falcons are looking like an early contender to win this episode. Well, the Jaguars are in victory formation, but for this episode only, it's called defeat formation. They are surrendering. They will be the first team eliminated. And I think I forgot to mention this in the intro, but when you win a game, normally in Imperialism, you get to steal a player from the other team. Well, in this case, you get to lose a player if you lose, if that makes sense. So the Falcons will be advancing, but they will lose their best player being Jesse Bates. Well, Jacksonville, you chose the wrong episode to finally start winning Imperialism games. The Falcons are moving on. That's a little too much red. Looks like the Falcons can be serious contenders in today's video, but the Green Bay Packers, they're kind of middle of the pack. That's no pun intended, of course, but I'm wondering how they're going to perform, as this might be going towards Minnesota, and that will clip the top of Minnesota. Something else I forgot to mention is that having a home game is a huge disadvantage because you're more than likely to win with all the momentum changes that Madden have added. So Minnesota's at home for this game. Maybe the Packers can actually lose and advance to the next round. Close game between these two division rivals. This also is current Madden roster. So we have Nick Mullins at quarterback. That's actually a good thing for the Minnesota Vikings. He needs 8 yards to tie. He almost takes a sack. You probably shouldn't take the sack there, but he throws it out 3rd and goal. Will they get the touchdown? Then the Packers bring this to overtime, and yes, okay, so if they kick the extra point, we'll have overtime to decide who should lose this game more likely. Another 3rd down situation. Maybe they won't get the completion this time. Nick Mullins, and well, Nick Mullins is turning into prime Tom Brady right now, and that's the horrible timing to do so. 1st and 10. Jordan Love is dicing them right now, not the episode to do so. Jaden Reed to the 34. The difference today is which quarterback wants to lose more, and right now, neither quarterback wants to lose. From the 24, another good pass by Jordan Love. This puts him at the 5. Jordan Love is still passing the football, and he has a touchdown. Okay, well, it looks like it's going to come down to who can score next will win. Well, we'll lose this game. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Now, since we're on the 2nd possession of overtime, it's next score win. So if Minnesota gets on the board here, Oh, it's an interception by Green Bay, and it's going to be a pick six, and that is probably, okay, not a pick six, but still, they're basically going to win this game. That is like the biggest break of the century for the Minnesota Vikings. Nick Mullins finally chose the correct team or time to suck. Well, maybe Anders Carlson will shank this kick like he did against San Francisco. And why would he? The Green Bay Packers win, and they are eliminated from the map. So here's the situation for the Vikings. They have Nick Mullins at quarterback, and now they just lost their best player, which is going to be Justin Jefferson. They might actually suck. Normally, I would be proud of my Green Bay Packers for a performance like that, but come on, you just chose the wrong episode. Well, we're 3 turns in, and I've already switched clothes, and here's the Chicago Bears, who this episode was made for them. At this point, I'm just asking what team they're going to lose to next. I think they might be playing the Vikings. So though the Vikings just had an impressive loss against the Green Bay Packers, it's gonna have to get a little bit more impressive. They're playing a team that is really capable of losing games. It's the Chicago Bears. I mean, damn, the Bears can't even lose properly. Here's a check down to Madison. Will they get the first down? And it's gonna be a 4th down and 1. The Vikings might tie it up with a field goal. Can the Vikings go to back-to-back overtime games to see who should win and who should lose? Maybe. 16 up. Well, Bears fans would love to see a game-winning drive by Justin Fields, but this episode is not the time. Let's see what he does on 3rd down and 4, and he will actually get a first down and much more than that because Darnell Mooney is open to the 25, and they might kick a field goal to win this game. I mean, round of applause for the Chicago Bears. This is their episode. They were meant to lose, and here they are, which you can basically just say an upset, which is weird to say. They take a 3-point lead over the Vikings. I mean, come on, Chicago. Vegas was counting on you. You were a top 5 candidate to win this episode. You're not supposed to be winning. You're supposed to be losing. So the Vikings already lost Justin Jefferson. Now they're going to lose Danielle Hunter, their 2nd best player. You know, I would be excited to see the Minnesota Vikings actually do something in Imperialism, but it's kind of embarrassing to say if you're actually winning games in this episode. But you know what? They take down the Packers and the Bears. I think that's all they could ever dream of. Maybe I'm just underestimating the Vikings. I mean, you do have Nick Mullins as quarterback, and next up we're going to Vegas. Usually the Raiders struggle in Imperialism because they share a border with the Niners, but this time they're actually going to be going east. This will be a dead shot for Utah, and expansions are actually pretty good today. Because like I previously clarified, if you expand, you lose your best player. That's a good thing. Goodbye, Max Crosby. I mean, sure, they got Devontae Adams, but with their quarterback situation, it's basically a win-win for them. Here's the Indianapolis Colts. Where will Gardner Minshew be taking his armies to? He's going somewhere in Ohio. I mean, damn, the Midwest has been striking pretty fast this video. They're pretty eager to lose today, and as you can see, the Colts versus Bengals. But remember, both these teams with backup quarterbacks. We're talking Jake Browning versus Gardner Minshew. Both of these teams had really similar stories this year. They started off pretty strong, and then their starting quarterback got hurt, and they basically sucked for the remainder of the year. So here's a 2nd down and 2, close to midfield. There's Jake Browning for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sure Bengals fans have hated the fact that I haven't used Joe Burrow in a long time, but here's an interception, and this will be a pick 6. There's a flag on the field. It could be holding. Could the Bengals scoop on to win this game now because of this? Yeah, this is holding on the offense, and that's not going to matter because obviously the Colts are programmed to win the football game, not knowing in the situation that they're currently dealing with, Jake Browning might win him or move on in this game. Seems to me that Jake Browning has the script. He threw a pick 6 on purpose. Can he throw another one? I don't even know what to say about this. The current MVP of this video is Jake Browning. The dude is understanding everything he needs to do. He's doing it properly. 2 interceptions in the last 2 throws. You could probably win this entire episode if you keep that behavior up, Jake Browning. Well, a Bengals loss is a Bengals win. Good thing for Jake Browning, playing like the Nickelodeon most valuable player out there, throwing 2 picks back to back, lost him this game. And so now both Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are not an NFL team. If you ask me, they should claim 1 more year of eligibility and go back to the LSU Tigers. They need it. Man, the Indianapolis Colts can't have nothing right. In normal Imperialism, they suck. And in loser Imperialism, well, they suck as well. I hate to be them. This video is so hard to commentate. This is just really strange. Here's the New Orleans Saints. Could they possibly get one of those 2 power-ups? And it looks like they might do that. Sure enough, that's going towards Mississippi. They are going to get the homeless power-up. This is what it does. Now, the homeless power-up is pretty underrated if you ask me. Essentially, the team that just got this power-up will never have to play another home game again. And remember, that's an expansion, so they get to lose a player, their best player, Demario Davis. Wow, the Saints are homeless. I haven't seen this since Hurricane Katrina. Here's the Philadelphia Eagles. If it was week 1, I would be worried for the Eagles, but they've been losing a lot recently, so I'm not worried at all. And so Philadelphia just barely misses out on New Jersey, which would have given them a pretty solid power-up. Instead, they have to play the New York Jets, and honestly, I have no clue who's going to lose this game. Well, even though the Philadelphia Eagles had the biggest collapse in human history since the Roman Empire, they still think they're Super Bowl contenders, so that's why they have the lead over the New York Jets. But maybe the Jets can actually do otherwise and pull off an upset, and now it's looking like the same old Eagles we knew earlier on this season. They're up by 10 10 points. How about the Jets come back though? Eagles strike another touchdown, and yeah, this game's over. The New York Jets are moving on. They lost. And because the New York Jets suffered a loss, they will have to surrender their sauce. Wow, the Eagles' territory just turned Kelly green. Surely they won, right? No. In defense of Philly though, the Jets should have lost that game right when game time started. Speaking of game time is an e-ticket marketplace that ensures a faster and easier process of getting into your favorite events at a moment's notice. On Game Time, you can land excellent deals on last-minute ticket purchases to all kinds of events, such as sports, concerts, and theater, all in that nature, in which you can land tickets at events spreading over 60 US and Canadian cities. Now, in my experience, buying tickets has always been a struggle. I can never tell if I'm getting good seats, where my seats are located, or maybe whether or not the seats are even worth the money. But with Game Time, those worries are pushed away. And it's not only the fact that you get cheap last minute tickets, but also the fact that the best prices are guaranteed. Additionally, with event cancellation protection. So let's take a look at the app now. Here you can see how user friendly the dashboards are, giving the user a complete peace of mind when going to purchase tickets. You can even see where these tickets are located through these previews. And on a second note, check out these ticket prices. I mean, these tickets to a professional football game in Atlanta under $40, and you're sitting parallel to midfield. That is insane. So take the guessing game out of buying tickets with Game Time. You can check out their website at gametime.co, but make sure to download the Game Time app on your phone, create an account, and use code DeansWorld for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code DeansWorld. That's all caps. DEANSWORLD for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Thanks to Game Time for today's video sponsor, and let's continue with the video. Well, 5 teams have won, so 27 teams are still in it, and here are the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. The Cowboys could really use an expansion here. They have a little too many good players in their team, and they're gonna get one. Yeah, that arrow will clip the panhandle of Oklahoma. And you know, good for Micah Parsons. I think he has a higher chance of winning a Super Bowl as a free agent. Well, who wants to lose next? It's gonna be the San Francisco 49ers. Will they lose, though? This is the one time I can make fun of the Niners for actually being good, because chances are they're probably gonna win whoever they play. We'll hold that thought because this arrow's actually dodging Nevada, and it's going to be a matchup with the Rams. These two teams can go neck and neck. I don't know who's going to lose. And after another 10 yards tackled on, a field goal doesn't seem too far out of sight. How will Brock Purdy win this game? Deebo Samuel with just another 8-yard pickup. We're going to be under 60 seconds. Will the Rams defense choke on purpose? That's the question. Brock Purdy is throwing nothing but slants. It's just like real life. They call their second timeout. All right, I got a fan blowing right now. Maybe Jake Moody can hook this one, and it is good. Okay, you know what? I can't complain about that. The Niners will lose because they won. I mean, I guess that fan was just there for emotional support. I can't complain about this. We kind of knew this was going to happen eventually. Well, after a very careful consideration for about 1.2 seconds, I decided that Aaron Donald should be taken away from the LA Rams. And this will now leave the LA Rams taking control of most of Northern California. I mean, come on. Did we really think the Niners would make it far in Imperialism based on losing? Here's the Houston Texans. And they are currently sandwiched between the Cowboys and Saints. I don't know what's the better option here. And it looks like their option will be the Saints. However, remember the Saints are homeless. Their whole arena just got destroyed by a hurricane, and because of that, we're not going to New Orleans. We're staying in Houston. That's going to make it easier for the Saints to lose. Derek Carr decides to fake the handoff. What does he have cooking up right here? Maybe a sack? No, he gets it off, overthrows it. Perfection by Derek Carr. He's used to doing that in really clutch situations. It works out for him. I agree, New Orleans. Punting the football is overrated, and unfortunately, the Texans, they understand the situation. They left that dude open as Waffle House right there. It's 1st and 10. Saints are stopped to another 3rd down, this time with 45 seconds left. Derek Carr, he has all the time he needs. Will he throw a completion? He does. He gets in field goal range, but they need more than that to tie. 36 seconds, 36-yard line. Derek Carr, another 1st down. This is getting a little too close for comfort. It's now 1st and goal. Come on, Saints. I'm crossing my fingers that you guys will pull a Seattle Seahawk here. And they don't. They score a touchdown. Okay. Play action. CJ Stroud. Can he take another sack here? No, he gets this one off. And we have a 1st down completion. That's the last thing you want to do there. CJ Stroud is going to take another sack, though, just to make up for those measures right there. This time he loses 10 yards. I can't tell if the Texans are trying to lose or trying to win. CJ Stroud. Oh, yeah. He's trying to lose. This is 100% trying to lose now. Reminder that 2 plays ago, it was just 3rd down and 31. Now from the 23, and CJ Stroud has been just doing absolutely stellar at this this drive. I mean, he's taken his 3rd sack already. I mean, they still should get a field goal out of this, but the Saints will have a chance to score, and they'll have to get a field goal to tie it. Let's hope they can get 0 points on the board here. All right, Derek Carr, continue what you're doing, and that's absolutely sucking. Is he going to take another sack? He does. 4th down and 20. No way they convert here. I mean, why are we having so many sacks? I didn't know we had Swiss cheese playing Swiss cheese here, and that really should have been a 1st down completion. Derek Carr just overthrew it on purpose because he wants to lose, and he will do just that. The Houston Texans tried, but unfortunately they won the game. That's not going to work out. I think the Saints are a team to look out for because now they just lost the Honey Badger and they really don't have any good players anymore. I mean, who would have thought being homeless could have taken you this far? They now take control of South Texas. There's still quite a lot of sucky teams who haven't had their spot in the spotlight yet, and I was about to say the Cardinals were one of them, except we get the complete opposite. I don't think this will be the episode the Chiefs will be going on a run, but maybe, just maybe, they'll get saved like they're getting saved right here. And that's because this arrow took a detour straight down south into Arkansas, and it landed on a power-up. This is dumped, and this is what it does. Now, the dumped power-up will take this team's 2 best players, and by random selection, they will be going to completely different franchises. So if we take a look at the Chiefs roster, we can see their 2 best players are Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and these 2 players will be randomly discarded to any random team that is still remaining on the map. So whatever team this lands on will be really unlucky because they will be getting Patrick Mahomes added on to their team, and it's going to be the LA Chargers. And it's funny because if the Chargers actually had Patrick Mahomes, they probably would be one of the scariest teams on the map right now if this was an actual Imperialism episode. And for the second spin, this team will be getting Travis Kelce, which is not as good, but still really good. The Carolina Panthers, okay. I mean, the Panthers are already one of the worst teams in the league, so this isn't going to completely hurt them. It's just going to make their chances of actually losing just a tiny bit harder. And to finally end this spin, remember that's also an expansion, so they get to lose a player. You're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs just lost Mahomes, Kelce, and Chris Jones, their 3 best players in one single turn, and now their best player on their team is Joe Thuney at right guard. And just like that, the Chiefs are one of the worst teams remaining. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers always struggle in Imperialism because they're just in a tough location geographically, and this one's probably going to be going towards the New York Jets. Yeah, I mean, the Steelers would usually struggle with this matchup because this is supposed to be the Philadelphia Eagles, but this is a hard game to lose. This is against the New York Jets. I mean, I give applaud to both these teams. It looks like both of these franchises are trying their hardest to lose this game. I mean, 7-0 in the 4th quarter. I guess that's just the result if you have the quarterback matchup being Zach Wilson versus Kenny Pickett, as point proven shown right there. Yeah, I gotta feel a little bad for the Steelers here. I mean, imagine scoring 7 points and only 7 points and still not be able to lose a game properly. That's kind of unfortunate. And this exactly was the perfect vision for the New York Jets this episode. Their defense is becoming atrocious. They just lost Sauce Gardner, and now they're going to lose Quinnen Williams. I mean, damn, just like the Colts, the Steelers just can't have anything nice. They scored 7 points and won that game. And that will leave us with 24 teams remaining, meaning a 4th of the league has won on accident. Here are the remaining 24 teams. Well, congratulations to these 24 teams. You have proven that you're worse than a 4th of the league. Well, maybe not the New York Giants. The Giants do share a board with the Buffalo Bills, so they could take a free loss here. However, it looks like they'll take an expansion here instead, which is just as good as losing a game because they'll lose a player. And just like that, the Giants just lost 80% of their offense. Might just be the greatest expansion we've seen in this video so far. Oh, I've been waiting for this team, the Cardinals. They really know how to lose games. Let's just see where the Cardinals will be taking their armies, and it might be expanding as well. Well, I didn't know this was possible, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Cardinals are getting, in fact, worser. They will be losing a player based on this expansion. The best player on the Cardinals being 90 overall Buda Baker kind of just shows how good of a chance the Cardinals have at winning this episode. The rich continue to get richer, or should I say the poor continue to get poorer? Okay, well here's the Titans. Man, we're starting to see a bunch of garbage teams come out of hibernation, and the Titans, I think they'll be expanding for a power-up as well. I mean, no visual line needed here. That was a dead north shot for Kentucky. That's an expansion to claim the poison power-up. This is what it does in this episode. So this is the poison power-up. Essentially, every single turn that a team possesses this power-up, one player will lose 5 overall. Okay, so before we get to the power-up, the first thing we're going to do is make it fair for them. We're going to release their best player for the expansion, which is Derrick Henry. I mean, as if he's already not going to leave the Titans already. But if we head over to the Tennessee Titans roster, you can see that poison power-up is going into full effect already. DeAndre Hopkins was the best player on the team that 89 overall. He just lost 5 overall. So now for every single turn the Titans live, another player down the list will lose 5 overall. There are a lot of teams that turn who just became really garbage. The Ravens are not one of them, however. Ravens will need to get a little lucky right here. They're going to need an expansion, and instead they might be going towards the Commanders. Let's see. Yeah, talk about the dodge of the century. If they were to play the Commanders, they would have probably won, but instead they'll be losing a player by expanding to Virginia. So the Ravens will lose their best possible player, Roquan Smith. Yes, I know Lamar Jackson is the actual best player, but if you know anything about imperialism, it's unfair to take away quarterbacks or add quarterbacks. The only way to remove a quarterback from your team this episode is if you get the power up like the Chiefs did, and that's just probably not going to happen again. So Roquan Smith, gone. I mean, what are we, 4 expansions deep into this turn? Are we going to see a single game at all? Next up is the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, hell, it's definitely possible the Falcons get an expansion too, and I think they'll be going to South Carolina. And that is expansion number 5 of this turn. These teams really want to be garbage, and this will cause the Falcons to lose their best defensive player, AJ Terrell. This is so funny. By the time we get to the final game, it's just going to be like third strings versus third strings. Here's the Chiefs again. Will we finally see a matchup for this turn? And I think we will. And to answer your question, yes, we will see a matchup. This arrow goes down to Mississippi and hits the Saints, but remember, they don't have a home. We have to play at Arrowhead instead. It's crazy how the Chiefs actually have a legitimate chance in this video, considering they lost Patrick Mahomes and Blaine Gabbert almost just dealed one right there. It's going to be 3rd and 13, however. You know, as long as Derek Carr does what he does best, then there shouldn't be an issue, and this punt was just really bad. I mean, granted, the Chiefs defense did lose Chris Jones, but their secondary is still really good. It's how they made it to the Super Bowl in the first place, but they're just not showing up on purpose. Now a first down to the 17. Derek Carr, another end zone pass, and this time it's a touchdown to Chris Olave. This will tie it up, but give the Chiefs 45-ish seconds and 3 timeouts. Blaine Gabbert could do something with that. What does Blaine Gabbert have cooking for the Chiefs since Patrick Mahomes left? Absolutely nothing. He throws a pick to the Saints, and they're going to win this game now with a field goal. Well, here's the devastating kick that I hope banks off the upright, because it is just really lucky that the Chiefs are in this position. If they didn't get that power up, they still would have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce right now. That is absurd how the Chiefs are actually moving on in this video. Well, look on the bright side. Even though America hates the Chiefs, they lose 2 of their most hateable players right now, Mahomes and Kelce. Maybe it's not so bad after all. And now the Chiefs will lose another 90 overall. Their best player is now Creed Humphrey. And for this episode, power-ups will transfer over to the team that beats them. So even though the Saints had the homeless power-up, the Chiefs will be taking it over control. They will not play any games at Arrowhead anymore. Yeah, I didn't think the Chiefs would be a legitimate contender in this video. Almost landed on them again, but instead we're going to Cleveland. You know, if it was 2017 right now, I'm pretty sure they would wipe the board, but instead they'll have a little bit of troubles trying to lose. I think this is against Cincinnati. Sure enough, it's by a matter of pixels. So this game between both teams with backup quarterbacks determines who's the worst team out of Ohio. I'm not entirely surprised at the current outcome we have right now. I mean, the Browns still have a really solid defense without whoever their starting quarterback is, but a 3rd and 3 for Jake Browning. And with 60 seconds remaining, Jake Browning is going to have to find a way to not score against its really good defense. He's doing a pretty good job so far. From midfield, and here is a sack by Jake Browning. If only he could have done that a play earlier. Myles Garrett is continuously selling for his team right now. Well, there was defensive pass interference, so this is the final play of the game. It's going to be a 35-yard touchdown if it connects, and Jake Browning proving that he is on the bench for a reason. Backup quarterbacks unite. He lost this game on purpose. Well done by the Cincinnati Bengals. And now the Bengals don't have Joe Burrow, they don't have Jamar Chase, and now they don't have Joe Mixon. I don't necessarily think this is a true statement, but the Bengals determined themselves to be the worst team in Ohio, maybe in 2023. I mean, to be fair, the Browns are only a good quarterback away from actually being contenders. Not too surprised they won that game, but the Carolina Panthers have been waiting for you guys to get called upon this video. They are completely surrounded on every side, no expansions possible, and I think this will be an easy loss for them. It's going to be against the Baltimore Ravens. That's because this arrow is going straight for Virginia. At the time, I thought this was a good move for Baltimore, but looking back, now it's actually going to hurt more than I thought. Yeah, I wanted to live spectate this game because I wanted to see if it was going to be a big blowout, but right now, the Panthers are actually winning? How are you doing the most easiest task wrong? You were supposed to lose this game. Never would I've thought that the Chiefs and Ravens would have made it past one single game in this video. I thought for sure they would have dominated anybody. We're talking about the 2 best teams in the AFC, and they both lost. lost. I mean, damn, you can't have anything nice in Carolina. The Ravens moving on, and they will lose Mark Andrews. This was the day, Carolina. You could have won an Imperialism episode, but you choked it. How do you beat the Ravens out of all teams? I mean, sure, we still have some really bad teams here, but what are the Chiefs and Ravens still doing here? But next up are the Vikings. The Vikings started strong to begin this episode by losing many games. What would they be doing now, going south? And it looks to me this might be the freest expansion ever with a power-up included. This is devolved, and this is how it works. So the devolved power-up is essentially the complete polar opposite of the evolved power-up. Instead of taking the two worst players and making them the best, I'm taking the two best players and making them the worst. So essentially the opposite of evolved power-up, we're going to take the two best players being Christian Darrisaw and then Harrison Smith. TJ Hawkinson's on IR, so he doesn't count. And if we go ahead and sort this by the worst overall on the team, you can see it's by a long snapper at a 50 overall. So both those players will be turning into 50 overalls, basically just removing them from the team, essentially. And then you can't forget that's also an expansion, so they lose their best player they have left, which is going to be Brian O'Neill, 86 overall right tackle. Well, that leaves only one power-up remaining on the map, and the Miami Dolphins will be forced to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And no, I'm not a prophet, it's just because the Miami Dolphins, well, they're trapped in Miami, which is only one way out. Looking at it like this, they have to go through Tampa. It's going to be the Miami Dolphins traveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, I think one of these teams has their priorities in check. Wait till you see the score of this game. I don't know what the Dolphins came to do. I think they wanted to go to Cancun instead. They just won this game 41-7. Congratulations, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're moving on. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield. You can tell he was trying to lose. He threw 59 yards on a 33.3% completion rate. And he may not be the best overall on the Buccaneers, but he is the only X factor on the Buccaneers, so goodbye Mike Evans. I mean, to be fair, the Miami Dolphins were fighting a losing battle. If they did somehow lose to the Buccaneers, they would have to lose to the Falcons right after that. I don't see that happening. The top 20 suckiest teams, who will be number one after quite a few turns, but here are the Washington Commanders, who are forced to play the Ravens. But in this episode only, this isn't really a bad thing. I mean, as you can see, the Commanders surrounded by purple on all sides of them, having to play the Ravens usually will probably mean that the Commanders will lose. I mean, the Ravens are still pretty concerning me, only winning by 5 points here, and the Commanders have a legitimate shot of actually winning this game. That's a little surprising. The Ravens are trying their hardest to lose games right now. 2 minutes remaining. Sam Howell, what a pass right there. It's got him to midfield, and 1 minute and 15 seconds left. That one's to Logan Thomas. I swear, if this is the one time that the Commanders end up beating the Ravens, that's going to be kind of funny. And another pass completion by Sam Howell, who is currently dicing up this defense right now. It's a 1st and 10 to the 21. So let's just see if Sam Howell can get the touchdown here to Curtis Samuel. He's going to stop just short, but thankfully the Commanders have a timeout. That's in the Ravens' case, at least. There's only 16 seconds left. They're from the 2-yard line. There's just no way you choke this. Do not get in the end zone, Commanders. It's not what you're meant to do, and that was the easiest touchdown ever. You have to be serious. The Ravens, are they going to move on again? Well, the Ravens still get to keep Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson just throws what should have been a pick six. I don't know why he turned around. It is a pick six. I mean, this is well far and over. What a complete choke by the Ravens. They know the agenda. They will be moving on. The fact that the Ravens just lost to the Panthers and Commanders back-to-back is so embarrassing, but it just only makes sense for this episode. Like, come on now. So now another defensive player off the board for the Ravens. Goodbye, Marlon Humphrey. This is just depressing, man. I made this episode for the teams like the Commanders, teams like the Panthers. I wanted you guys to have a shot to actually win an Imperialism, and this is how you perform? Why are you deciding to win now? I mean, at this rate, this just looks like a normal Imperialism episode. Here's the Buffalo Bills. I swear, if the Bills end up losing a game to the Jets or Giants, I don't know who they're gonna play. I'm gonna be kind of mad. And this era will be going towards the New York Jets. Yeah, I think we've snapped back into reality. This makes total sense. I mean, not even Aaron Rodgers could save this team. There goes their wide receiver number 1. And now the Jets are becoming a true threat. Never thought I'd say that sentence in my life. And let's have a quick checkup on the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, they're complete dog water. Their best player is Jeffrey Simmons, and brother's been on the IR for a couple weeks now. And look at this, just 70s all across the board. If nobody can beat this team soon, they might be the most unbeatable worst team of all time. 10 times worse than the 2017 Cleveland Browns. Hey look, I have hair again. Our next team will be the Denver Broncos. I don't think we've seen the Broncos today, but their chances of expanding are pretty high, as always. Rain, snow, or shine, the Broncos will expand until the end of time. And after losing Patrick Surtain based on the expansion, it's kind of hard to see this team winning a game. Good for them. Kind of an odd expansion. Anyways, here's the Arizona Cardinals. This team is is destined to be a powerhouse no matter who they play, and looks like they're going towards California. Now, they say birds migrate south, but do they migrate west as well as they take on the LA Chargers? Remember, the Chargers got Patrick Mahomes from a power-up a long time ago, so this is going to be a tough loss for them. TMZ reports breaking news. Grass is green. Look at this. Mahomes just killed the Cardinals. Congratulations on your early exit, Mahomes and the Chargers. And now the Cardinals will drop one of their skill players, and honestly, the term skill player is a little loose-fitting here. This is the only skillful player on the Cardinals. James Conner, no longer in Arizona. These West Coast teams better be shivering their timbers right now. They have a real cupcake juggernaut building out here. I'm really surprised at some of the teams we still have remaining. We have the literal Super Bowl champions still on the map. Here's the Atlanta Falcons. Will we have another bird team lose their next game, or will they be going to, looks like, an expansion? Well, these teams can only go so long with avoiding Alabama, but the Atlanta Falcons will have to claim it with this expansion. And you know your team's starting to get trashed when the best player I can release is a right guard named Chris Lindstrom. Don't worry, Falcons fans, you still have Kyle Pitts, said no one ever. Here's the Giants. The Giants have done a great job at sucking this video. All they've done is expanded, and I have no clue what they're doing here. Well, it looks like the New York Giants want to be claimed as the worst team in New York, and if this battle was to happen in real life, I think the appropriate result would to be end in a tie. Well, damn, these matchup of these two teams is the worst thing to happen in New York since... Oh, okay. Well, I just gotta text my legal team. They told me to stop that joke right there. Anyways, here's punctured lung Tyrod Taylor, and he's taking a sack. I think he might have just punctured his other lung right there. 3rd down and 9. Tyrod Taylor up the middle has a completion, an actually good completion. Not what you want to see right here to Darius Slayton. This puts the Giants close to field goal range. They don't have much room for error. They're gonna need it though, and they just complete another pass up the middle seam, and the Jets are calling timeouts. Looks like the Giants might win this game. And it looks like the Giants will just add salt in the wound. They're gonna score a touchdown. Well, it looks like the Giants were able to take down the Jets. Kind of strange to say that, but the Giants will be eliminated, and the Jets proving that they suck with Zach Wilson. And this will cause yet another defensive Jet to crash out of there. CJ Mosley, the middle linebacker. I mean, sure, the Giants do suck, but I don't think the Jets are worrying about the real true boss here, the New England Patriots. And so with the Giants elimination in this video, we are now down to half the league, 16 teams remaining. And I don't know about you, but Cardi looks like he's taking a tour down south because I'm seeing a whole lot of red in that area. That might be one of the most corniest things I've ever said. I hope everyone watching this video just clicked off right then. And as for the Rams, their chances are either going to be the Raiders or Cardinals. I think that's closest to Vegas. We don't really need a line. That was essentially a dead shot for the Vegas Raiders. Who is going to be worse out of these two Western Coast teams? From the 22, I believe this is Aiden McConnell, I think it's his name, and he just delivers a dart to the 46-yard line. Aiden O'Connell is what his name. Could the Raiders actually have a chance? Well, it looks like we'll need extra minutes to determine who's suckier between the Rams and the Raiders. Rams started the ball in overtime, and they're down to a 3rd down and 11 right now, where Matthew Stafford panics, he frolics and throws it out of bounds. 4th and 11. Raiders get the ball back. They could win this game. Not good. I don't know what just happened, but I just believe Aiden O'Connell just threw a pick 6, which means the Raiders are moving on. I'm just scrolling on my phone. I have to see a replay. Alright, here it is in high definition, and that was just as easy as possible. I don't know who you are, I don't know who you think you are, but you just lost the game for the Rams, essentially. The Raiders are moving on with this pick 6 walk-off, and the Raiders have lost again today, which means they've already lost Max Crosby. Now they're going to lose Devontae Adams, looking pretty bad over there in Vegas. I can't entirely blame the Rams for that win. I mean, after all, they still had Cooper Kupp and Puka and all of them, but after all, if you bet against Vegas, you're not going to win. And down to 15 teams remaining, who wants to earn the title of being the worst? The Buccaneers do, apparently. And if you know anything about Southern Florida, once you're there forever. As you can see, there's only one way out of this joint. It's through the Atlanta Falcons. Who's going to be the worst between these NFC South rivals? Well, I had to throw on these teams' 2010s jerseys because that's back to the time when they both sucked. Who is going to be the more suckier team today? We're in overtime. It means we need extra minutes to determine who is the worst team, and Baker Mayfield just throws up a Hail Mary, and it's caught at the 45. Okay. 2nd and goal from the 2. It's a handoff in right up the middle. It's a Tampa Bay touchdown. Will the Falcons respond? I believe that's Desmond Ridder in the game, and 100% that is Desmond Ridder because only Desmond Ridder would do that play right there. 4th down and 18. Do they have the skills to not make it pass? And Ridder throws an interception. Put the cherry on the top, the icing on the cake. This game is over. The Buccaneers are eliminated. Well, that statement I said a couple of turns ago is now null and void because the Falcons no longer have Kyle Pitts. And this right here is the only case in human history where I can say this confidently in February. The Atlanta Falcons are going to Disney World. It is proven that the play of quarterback can only take you so far. Here's the Minnesota Vikings. Quite the list of options for Minnesota, and they will be traveling to their northwest. And from their new recentered logo, that's going to hit South South Dakota as an expansion. And just like that, the Vikings have no quarterback because Kirk Cousins is injured, no tight end, TJ Hawkinson's injured, they've already lost Justin Jefferson, and now they're losing Jordan Addison. I'm finally starting to pick up on a trend in this video. A lot of teams that are still alive have backup quarterbacks playing, and here's the first time we're seeing the Seattle Seahawks. This is an automatic expansion because they're isolated in their corner over there in Washington. I'm just going to say this is closest to Oregon. I'm going to give them the expansion. So now they share a border with the Vegas Raiders. And while he's not the highest overall in the Seattle Seahawks, he's the only X factor, so it's definitely a big opportunity to get rid of DK Metcalf. I swear, the Seahawks had to have the worst wheel luck out of any team ever in Imperialism. Here's the Dallas Cowboys, which I'm surprised are still standing. They do share a border with the Kansas City Chiefs, which is another team that should not be here, and I think it's going that direction. I really can't believe this is a matchup in an episode featuring the worst teams possible, and even this far into the video as well. But the Cowboys and Chiefs are our next matchup. This one's played in Dallas because the Chiefs, remember, they don't have a home. Our quarterback matchup is Blaine Gabbert versus Dak Prescott, and honestly, I couldn't tell you who's better. Here's a first down pickup for 3 yards. Well, if the Chiefs are trying to lose, which is their job, then they're doing a great job at it, because considering that they've wasted a whole minute and they still haven't called a timeout. And now just a little play action magic for Blaine Gabbert as he throws almost a touchdown pass. It's caught at the 1 yard line, forcing them to call their final timeout. How about 3 passing plays in a row? Good job, Andy Reid. And this one's a touchdown. Now you gotta do that one more time for the 2 points. Do they run the football for the first time from here today? They do not. Blaine Gabbert passes, 2-point conversion complete off a really quick slant by MVS, even though he just got dropped by the Chiefs. We're tied. We need extra minutes. Looks like the Chiefs have made it back to where they were in the overtime, and it's gonna be a fumble picked up by the Cowboys. Okay, that was a really good fumble by Blaine Gabbert. I mean, seriously, how did you not pick up that fumble right there? I think they purposely did not pick it up as they had 2 offensive line dive on it and completely missed the ball. 3rd down and 9. Will they be giving the football right back? Way to go, Dak Prescott. A brilliant taken sack. And yeah, as you can see, the Chiefs already start with really good field positioning, and they're just making it worse. A field goal ends this game. It was a great run for the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost a lot of important games, but they couldn't lose this one. The Cowboys were meant to lose games. We already know that. The Cowboys will advance. Seems like we've been releasing a lot of wide receivers recently, but all for the right reasons, because goodbye CeeDee Lamb, a new X factor at 96 overall. And because of this, remember the power-ups will carry in this episode. The Dallas Cowboys are now homeless. 13 teams remaining, and here are the Arizona Cardinals. Where will the Cardinals continue their tour? To the right. And it looks like this is kind of going towards the El Paso region in Texas, which means the Cowboys have to play another game. Do they have the potential to suck twice in a row? Let's see. Yeah, hell no. The Cardinals are just that bad. I mean, to be fair, just like the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cowboys really shouldn't have made it this far in this video, and that's honestly the nicest thing I've said to the Cowboys today. Yeah, the Cardinals have gotten so bad that they're starting to lose players which I didn't even know of. Jalen Thompson, the free safety, goodbye. Well, on the bright side, the Cowboys were only homeless for like 5 seconds. And now the Chargers own land from San Diego, California to Jackson, Mississippi. The difference in language dialect has to be crazy. And now 12 teams remaining. We will go to the Denver Broncos once again. They have an emerging threat to their south. Let's hope they don't go that way, and they're going the complete opposite direction. Where once again, this will reward the Broncos for what they're best at, expanding, as they're going to Wyoming. And it's crazy because the Denver Broncos went from being considered the no-fly zone to being considered Atlanta's airport. I mean, literally, we might have a touchdown every single second. A solid little play on words, and here is the Detroit Lions. Is their first time today? I think it is. Kinda sucks for them because the Detroit Lions made it to the NFC Championship this year, and they're playing against some pretty bad teams. Let's see what's gonna happen. Well, this arrow has them catching a ride on a ferry over Lake Michigan, and it's gonna go towards the Minnesota Vikings. Who knows? This is a division matchup. It can go either way. Lions or Vikings, who can be worse here? You know, the moment I knew that the Vikings were end up going to lose this game was when I saw their overall ratings when selecting the game. The Vikings are a 71 overall. The Lions, who haven't lost a single player in this video, that's just bad luck. They're 89 overall. This 100% makes sense. I mean, look at the quarterback right there. Nick Mullins, are we serious? I mean, I've said it to a lot of teams this video, but you can't be really too mad about this. I mean, who really wants to compete to be the worst team after all? I know I get comments all the time like, Dean, you should make it so where every team can only get selected once. Once every team goes, then you reset the wheel. And I know that makes sense, but part of the fun of Imperialism is it being random. I kind of like teams like the Seahawks and Lions not going at all in a single video and they get screwed over. It's what makes it fun. You know another team who hasn't even gone yet? The Patriots. And good for them, they actually suck. But back to the Atlanta Falcons, they have 3 choices and they're going to the left. You know, I'm gonna hope that the prayers to the Atlanta Falcons would not be answered because they're playing the one powerhouse in this episode right now, the Arizona Cardinals. Who knows? If you have Desmond Ridder at quarterback, anything can happen. Let's jump to this game between the Falcons and Cardinals. You know, I have no idea what's up with these teams. I mean, why do they all need extra minutes to determine who is the worst team here? And the Arizona Cardinals looking like they are the better team as Kyler Murray is delivering right now. It's to the 7-yard line. Essentially, this Cardinals offense is 10 AI-generated players and Kyler Murray. I am surprised that they are actually in this game. And here is a run, which the running back, I don't even know his name, just broke a tackle, and it put the Cardinals up in the lead in overtime. That could hurt. There he is, Emarky DeMarcado. He doesn't even have a face. No one knows him. Well, guess who's in another game-clutching scenario? Desmond Ridder. And obviously, it's not to actually clutch the game, it's to throw the game. He's thrown 2 incompletions straight. It's 3rd and 10. Still haven't moved a yard in this drive, and they're actually moving yards backwards, and it's going to be a scoop and score touchdown. What a way to continue the Falcons' legacy in this episode, and the Cardinals, who I thought were a powerhouse, are eliminated. This is honestly one of the most shocking Imperialism episodes just because it makes no sense. Mr. Bijan Robinson, I think I might have just done you a favor. Congratulations on your freedom from the great city of Atlanta. You know, I'm used to the South being red, but not this red. Oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. And well, here's the top 10 teams in Losers Edition of Imperialism. I gotta say, most teams that are still alive, other than basically the Ravens and Bengals, are basically essentially mid. Like, there's not like really bad teams, but these teams, I mean, they're all good competitors in this episode. Such a scuffed list of teams to make it to the top 10. Here's the New York Jets. They will be heading to the South. You know, if this was normal Imperialism, I would say this is the dodge of the century because you would not want to play the Bengals and Ravens, but in this case, the Jets would definitely lose to both these teams. But you know what? Win-win. They get an expansion to West Virginia. I mean, these Jets are becoming the new Bishop Sycamore. They're losing good players left and right. They have nobody real left. We have still yet to see that power-up claimed in New Jersey, and now the Ravens, who are right next to the Jets. In all honesty, the Ravens just should not be here. They're going to the West Coast. Well, you couldn't escape them this time, New York. You really should be thankful you're playing this game. I don't know why the Ravens are still here. Yeah, to me, this just seems like another game we have to get out of the way. That's why I'm quick simming it. The Ravens obviously tied up. Well, actually, now they're up 14-7 and make it 17-7. Looks like they're just going to keep on stat padding. This is well expected. The Jets are just not even on their level at all. And that will make the final score a whopping 41-7. Congratulations, New York. You will stay alive. Well, we already took rid of Sauce Gardner. Now we're getting rid of DJ Reed Jr., which is weird. Why does this dude have Jr. twice as his name? At least I only have it once. You know, looking back at this honestly was a power move by the New York Jets. Not only did they get an expansion, but they also lost a game. So they're going to lose 2 players in this total move. And honestly, it would have been a lot better if they could just claim this power bar already. It also removes 2 players a turn. And now with 9 teams remaining, I'm going to read off the list of the remaining quarterbacks to tell you how important it is. Geno Smith, Aiden O'Connell, Russell Wilson, Desmond Ridder, Will Levis, Jake Browning, Nick Mullins, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones, maybe? I don't even know. What a list. The real question is which one of those quarterbacks will come out on top. Will it be Russell Wilson? And honestly, I don't even know if it is Russell Wilson. Didn't he get benched at the end of the season? I can't even remember. But uh-oh, you couldn't dodge the team this time. No expansions for you, Mr. Denver Broncos. You have to play the Minnesota Vikings because earlier they got South Dakota. So I guess it isn't Russell Wilson. He was benched. I don't even know who's playing, but they really should start him more with a pass like that. Jerry Jeudy with the catch. Oh, it's Jared Stidham, of course. This is going to go to the 40 now. The good news for the Broncos is that they have no way to stop the clock, so they've just drained the entire clock. They haven't got out of bounds yet. That's another clock draining play. 2nd and 5, we're under 30 seconds. This is super risky, but also for this episode, super smart. Who kicks a field goal? Why do you need to kick a field goal? We're going to go to a short pass. Can he get out of bounds? He cannot. That's going to end the game. Jared Stidham, what a masterclass. He stayed in bounds the entire drive. No out of bounds at all the sidelines. That's how you lose on purpose right there. Way to go, Broncos. You have it figured out. Well, we already took a giant bite out of the Broncos defense, but now it's time to save some room for the offense. We're going to go ahead and get rid of Cortland Sutton. And I got to give it to the Minnesota Vikings. They played exceptionally bad this episode, but when you're faced up against the Denver Broncos and you have to lose, good luck. I say that statement like as my Green Bay Packers didn't lose to the Broncos this regular season. And here is the Unelite 8, and finally, the New England Patriots. I have been waiting for you guys for so long. An expansion would definitely help. I might as well just go and get one out of the way. They were cutting it close with this one, but it did go straight up in going into New Hampshire. And you already know this team was built for this episode when the very first player I'm taking away from them is a left tackle, Trent Brown at 88. I believe I can confidently say that every single team on the wheel has gone at least once now. The Atlanta Falcons, they have gone like 10 times, it seems like. But good for them because they want to prove they can lose to everybody else, even though everyone already already knows that already. You know, about time the Titans are getting into a matchup. They got the poison power up what seems like 15 turns ago. Basically, all their players are like 70s, 80s at this point now. This is actually going to be a pretty tough loss to get for the Atlanta Falcons. The Titans are forced to go to this. There's no way they complete this. Will Levis, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The one thing you do your entire career right now, and that's what you get out of it? Oh my goodness. Tegosium Okwanu. I 100% definitely just butchered that name right there, but you gotta be serious. I mean, he was just throwing short little dump-off passes, and now he comes up clutch, and the Tennessee Titans, who have basically every single player in the 70s, are currently leading over the Falcons. Well, if Desmond Ridder can keep on choking like he's done this entire video, the Atlanta Falcons would be moving on, and that's not a good start. They're already at the 43. Drake London, what a catch though. Half a minute remaining, and from the 40, Desmond Ridder on the run. Why is he looking like Prime Rodgers right now? They're already in field goal range. And to send it to overtime, I'm hoping Younghoe Koo shanks this one. When does he ever? It's tied. He's going to have to pass it here. 3rd down and 8. 6 rush for the Falcons. He struggles to get it off, and he almost throws an interception. They're punting it away. It's going to be a really good start field position wise for the Falcons. And Cordell Patterson is going to take this to end it for the Falcons. The Falcons' legendary run ends there. And you want to know what went wrong? They did not let Desmond Ridder pass the football enough. If he would have, maybe throw a pick. But anyways, the Titans, man, like, they just had to lose. Like, they had the poison power up. There's just no way they should be winning any games. It's really broken. I made it too powerful. Anyways, the Falcons' run ends there. And the only 80 player remaining on the Titans was DeAndre Hopkins. Well, no longer is that the case. Well, I think we have a new betting favorite on who's going to win this episode. The South is now going blue. They're going Democratic again for the first time since like the Civil War. And to make matters worse, literally, they are now homeless. They took the homeless power up away from the Falcons. Honestly, if it wasn't for the Titans, I think the Falcons would have gone all the way. But here's the Jets again. I mean, if they could get an arrow to just land right, they'll get a free power up, and there you have it. And that arrow was a dead-on collision for New Jersey. We finally got the final power up. This is Sliced Twice. And finally, Sliced Twice is our final power up claimed. It's the complete opposite of Double Trouble, which means we're taking 2 players per each successful loss away from this team. And on top of finally getting this power up, they're also going to lose a player for getting this expansion, Quincy Williams, the right outside linebacker at 83 overall. Well, good job, Jets. It only took about the entire dang video, and here's the Seattle Seahawks. So here's an unwritten imperialism rule, which you're probably familiar with. If a team is quartered like this and they have 2 possibilities to do something, then I'm just going to run an arrow once. Whatever it's closest to, that's what's going to get. So it's either the Raiders or an expansion to Idaho, in which this arrow will be closer to, honestly, it might just be a dead shot to Vegas, doesn't matter. And so sure enough, the Seattle Seahawks will be testing their gambling luck, and they will be heading to the slot machines in Vegas. Low-key, I expected this game to be a blowout, but Geno Smith has kept it close. He just has to choke away and not get this first down. They're stopped to 3rd down in inches. Are they going to convert it here? They elect to pass the football on 3rd and inches. All they need is inches, and they pass the football. Okay, they obviously did that on purpose, because now it's 4th and inches, and they're probably punting the football away. 1st and 10, flushed out, a short pass. No, it's intercepted by Bobby Wagner, and that's gonna put a complete end to this game, where the Seattle Seahawks end up winning. Obviously, it's what I was expected to be anyways, but it was close. The Raiders will come out of this one with a win. Well, a loss. You know what I mean. I didn't even realize Josh Jacobs wasn't even X-Factor anymore. Kind of crazy to believe that he was still on the team this entire time. And once again, here's another instance of a team getting unlucky. They were just staying alive for a little too long with doing a little too much. Goodbye, Seahawks. The lucky 7 final teams, and I can't tell, it's the Patriots again. Well, your chances of expansion are pretty high, but you could also run into the Jets. Let's see what happens. Well, that's yet another Patriots land on, yet another expansion. This time it's Connecticut. But don't you worry, the Patriots are just gearing down so they can face on the New York Jets eventually. Looks like we're stuck in a game of stalemate with the New England Patriots, but here's the Tennessee Titans once again. The Titans will be taking their poisoned army kinda up north, and that arrow does come in contact with Ohio, which is owned by the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a team we haven't seen in quite the minute, so I'm interested to see how well they play. I wonder if the Titans just kind of forgot the objective of this video. I mean, how can you be this bad in actually winning the football football game right now. They better not convert this first down. 3rd down and 5 from the 16. Will Levis is going to pass. 4 rush for the Bengals. He steps up, and the Titans will win this game. You have to be serious. I was full-heartedly expecting a Bengals blowout win, and then the Bengals would be eliminated. But no, in this case, the Bengals were somehow bad enough to lose to the Titans. I mean, are they really that bad without Joe Burrow? Guess we'll find out how truly bad the Bengals are soon. They just lost 20-13 to the Titans. I mean, to be fair, the Bengals already don't have Joe Burrow because of injury. They lost Jamar Chase earlier, and now they're going to lose Trey Hendrickson. So maybe they just are that bad. But who knows? Are you ready to see America turn 3/4 orange? There you have it. Well, here's a look at the final 5 teams. And aren't you glad that the Bengals and Broncos are still alive? That was awful. I hope you just clicked off right now. The Bengals have been a complete shock this video, but here is the Raiders again. The team they play next will probably be wearing orange, and it's going straight down south. And as you can see, straight down south for the Raiders is straight down into Bengals territory. Let's see if the Bengals are good enough or bad enough to lose again. Well, maybe, just maybe, hear me out. The Bengals are actually contenders to lose this episode? Are you serious? I mean, I really thought it'd be harder to get worse than Aiden O'Connell. And back-to-back losses for the Bengals will cause another wide receiver to drop from the team. This time it will be T. Higgins. I mean, this is crazy. The color orange is just completely taking control of America. So I may or may have not have left the Seahawks on the wheel last spin. Oh well, here's the Patriots. Do they finally have the balls to play their first game? I hope so. And sure enough, it dodges the small little puny state of Rhode Island and goes straight for Long Island, New York. Obviously under control of the New York Jets. About time. Let's see if they were ready. Wow, dude, you know you've gotten super bad if you just got shut out by the New England Patriots. The Jets are doing everything right this episode. They just lost 19-0 to the Patriots. And now that they finally decided to claim the slice twice power up, they're going to lose 2 players per this loss. Jermaine Johnson and Michael Carter II, and both these players 80 and 79 overall respectively. This is really good for the Jets. They just suck. Before we did one single spin this video, I honestly thought the Patriots could have won this episode, but they just hung around a little too long, didn't get the luck. They're eliminated. Well, here is the final 3 teams, and I gotta say, this is not at all what I was expecting. I mean, 2 of the 3 teams make sense, but the Bengals? What are they even doing here? The final 2 games is going to come down to one of these 3 teams who will claim the title of being the absolute worst team today, starting with the Bengals. And it looks like the Bengals will be traveling to their west, and I think this is going to go towards the Broncos, which now this means congratulations to the Jets. They just clinched a spot in the losers championship game. But here we have the Broncos versus Bengals, the Battle of Orange. Remember, the Bengals have the homeless power-up and the poison power-up. They have all the odds at their favor. Maybe the Broncos can overcome it. Well, if the game was to end right now, the Broncos would be playing the Jets, but that's not going to be the case in just a few seconds. However, we have an incomplete pass right here. It's going to be 4th and inches. Do they decide to go for it, or do they kick the field goal? Wow, okay, they're going to kick the field goal, and I don't hate this decision because they're getting the ball back to the Cincinnati Bengals, giving them a chance to score, and you would still be down, which means you would win. Well, instead, somehow we got overtime, and the Broncos are starting with it, but Jarrett Stidham throws an interception at the 16-yard line, then it's fumbled, but the Bengals hold on to it, which means the Bengals just lost. So Logan Wilson had the interception, then he fumbled, and then somebody else picked up the football, and now what's going to happen is that the Bengals will kick a field goal, they'll win the game, and the Bengals will be eliminated. It's going to be Broncos versus Jets. I guess the Bengals forgot that the Broncos already had a possession because they're just not kicking a field goal for whatever reason. If they would have thrown an interception there, that would have been funny, but instead they're getting in on a walk-off touchdown. They're celebrating for 3rd place because they are eliminated. Broncos and Jets up next. So our final player drop of the video will be Jerry Jeudy of the Denver Broncos, and while I'm here, I'm just going to scroll up, hold up. You can just take a look at all the talent that's in the free agent pool right now, all the players that have been dropped throughout the entire video. It's kind of crazy to see all of these players not even on a team. Well, here it is, the final turn number 31. We're left with our final 2 teams, the Broncos and the Jets, and if you ask me, this just sounds like our average Thursday night football game. These two teams are atrociously bad, if that's even a word. Now, to remind you of that giant blue circle still sitting in the middle of the United States, that's the homeless power-up. And remember, it doesn't matter the arrow spin anymore. Usually the arrow spinner matters a big time on this spin right here because it determines who's home or away. Well, the Broncos, they automatically can't be home. We are going to MetLife for the final game of today's video. And here's a minimal overview of the two final teams. The Jets sitting at a 72 overall. Their best player is Bryce Huff. Aaron Rodgers doesn't count. He's injured. And then the Denver Broncos, 1 overall higher. Their best player is Javonte Williams. And here is the Losers Championship. It's a slugfest under the lights. 13-13 as it should be. Javonte Williams just ran for a first down for the Denver Broncos. Now, in the point of view of the Jets, as you can see, the Broncos are closing in on field goal range. If you're the Jets defense, you want to give them as much yards as possible, like right there, first down and 10 to the 23. You want to give up a touchdown. We're approaching the 2-minute warning. Another handoff. Javonte Williams is stepping up big time. It's like him in 2021, 2020 all over again, and that's going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. Another handoff. The run game seems to be working really well in the championship game. That's not a good sign, however. First down and goal to the 4. At this point, all the Jets can do is sit back and laugh. Look at this formation they're in. They've been running the ball 10 times in a row, and they were in pass defense right there. Genius by the Jets. There was no way they're going to stop Javonte Williams. So now the Broncos go up a touchdown, forces the Jets to be down by 7 with 1:16. Javonte Williams has easily turned into the least valuable player in this entire video. His performance in the last 4 rushing plays completely changed the history for the Broncos in this video. This is the one time I would not get mad at Madden for basically letting the clock run down to the zeros. No timeouts called. It works in the favor of the Jets because now we're down to 50 seconds. Zach Wilson lines up empty formation, meaning he's going to pass the football or scramble out, and he takes a 3-yard loss for a sack, and the Jets call their first timeout. Zach Wilson is struggling out here. Somebody give him a raise if he wins it today. And he throws on the run. And how did he complete that? That was probably one of the best passes I've ever seen Zach Wilson do in Madden and real life combined. I mean, look at this. That dude is on the run. That is a Aaron Rodgers type pass. I know Aaron Rodgers is on the sideline smiling about that, also frowning because he's not playing. But still, I take back what I just said. Aaron Rodgers probably has no clue what's happening. He's probably tripping balls on the sideline right now. Here's a small little completion, which is going to pick up 7 yards, burns a timeout for the Jets. Zach Wilson, my man, you picked the wrong time to start doing something with your career. That's more like you, Zach Wilson. Stay back in your own lane, please. He takes a sack, 3rd down and 10. The Jets are saving their timeout. They ended up calling it at the 11-second mark, so 3rd and 10. Zach Wilson steps up out of the pocket, stays in the throwing lane, and throws it out of bounds for what could be the final play. 4th down and 10. We have a Super Weenie Hut Jr.'s loser title on the line. Zach Wilson, he knows he wants it. He throws it deep to the end zone. 4th and 10. Intercepted. It is over. The Jets are the worst team in the league. Am I surprised? No. But they will lose this game 20-13, which will send the Jets controlling of the entire United States of America if losing was all that mattered. And you know what that means? It's time for the best part of Imperialism, the final coloring. Filling in the map, this time with Jets Midnight Green. And honestly, I gotta say, this video came out a lot more fun than I thought it would be. There was a lot of sucky teams. I had no clue who was gonna win it, but the Jets, you know what? That makes sense. I can't complain too much. Now, normally I keep records and stats of everything that happened in the video to show you guys at the end, but I didn't do that with this episode because it's not really part of the mainline series. If you're hoping to see stats today, sorry, don't got it. That's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching another Imperialism episode, and I will see you guys soon with some more off-season Madden content, or maybe something else. Got some good stuff in the works. I'll see you guys later.